Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, it kind of seems like, yeah, we're in for a storm here in Seattle. So I'm not too sure where the storm is or anything like that, but I do know that I heard all the walkie-talkie conversations today while I was waiting for my test to get done, which by the way went very, very smoothly. I have my PCR test. I'm ready for my trip tomorrow, provided I can fly. And I am at my hotel right beside the airport, and I'm ready to go, but there is a storm apparently in the area. So much so that the Majestic Princess won't be leaving port tonight. They are going to stay one or possibly even 2 nights, depending on the length of the storm and the severity. And they'll probably skip one of the cruise port destinations in Alaska. Very likely they would skip Skagway and go right to Juneau. But we don't really know what or they might skip Tracy Arm. I'm not sure what they're going to do, but this is what the scuttlebutt was on the on the cruise dock as I was waiting for my test results. Also, they seem to have a person who walked away who tested positive. And so they were tracking that person down, and they did find him, of course. That person was like walking all around me while I was standing in line. Because that's always the way it is, right? And they tracked him down, but they're going to have to re-sanitize a lot of the area before they can start boarding the passengers. So they were hoping to start boarding passengers around 10:30. 10 o'clock, and now it turns out they're not going to be out of board till 11, 11:30, 12, depending on how much, when they check the security cams, where that person went and how much they have to disinfect. So that's affecting the Majestic Princess today. Also, another cruise ship, Royal Caribbean Serenade of the Seas, is steaming at full speed. I think it's doing 22 knots right now, trying to arrive early in Seattle to also avoid the storm and spend the night in port. So I don't know if that is the cruise ending early, or because I don't imagine it would come in at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That doesn't make a lot of sense. But I think it's coming in early, outrunning the storm at full speed. So yeah, that's what's going on right now here in Seattle. It's disappointing for the people heading out on the Majestic next week for their cruise. They're going to probably miss at least one cruise port. There might also be a little bit of rough seas. We had some rough seas. It wasn't that bad, really. And I was in the front of the ship, so I felt the worst of the weather. And it didn't really bother me too much. None of the shows were affected. So everything went on as scheduled. The only thing that changed once in a while is some of the restaurants that are on the open decks, like the Noodle Bar and the Lobster Roll and Hamburger Place. They would shut down and move indoors into the buffet area just to make sure that, nobody's blowing around and it's too gusty and gets hit by something blowing around on the top deck. So that's where we stand. Apparently there's a storm, and it's going to affect at least 2 ships on the West Coast here in Washington State. And who knows? Last time I had my test lost, and I couldn't fly out. This time I got my test, and maybe I can't fly out because of the weather, because there's only one flight to Ottawa, Canada, from Vancouver. And so let's see what happens with that. It's always an adventure this time. Always an adventure. Well, I hope you appreciate this little update. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. We'll see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world, and maybe one more from here in Seattle if I don't get on the plane. And until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.